Hey, hey, folks! Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around after that wonderful stream from our good friend Kyle T. Webster. Shout out to Kyle for that awesome, informative broadcast. It is always a pleasure to watch you work, sir. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host yet again for another awesome installation of the Design Off, and I am joined by my friend Wade Acuff. How are you, Wade?
I'm doing really well. I'm super excited about this design off.
Me too. I'm super pumped to have you with me. I think most people are probably used to seeing you in chat, but we actually get to create art with you and stuff today, so this is going to be super fun. Just briefly want to go over kind of how the design off works, and then we'll get a little bit of an intro from you just in case folks are unfamiliar with you, and then we'll kind of jump into what we have planned for the day. So if you folks are new, also if you folks are maybe watching over on the YouTube channel, definitely head over to behance.net/live because that is where me and Wade are going to be reading the chat. And basically what we're doing today is we have chosen a pretty nifty theme. Wade and I are going to be designing like little goblin characters, which I think is going to be super, super fun. Oh, Sam says I need to turn your volume up. Let me turn you up so everybody can hear you. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully that's good now. Yeah, we're gonna be designing some goblin characters. I'm gonna choose like a biome, like an area where this goblin could be from, and kind of illustrate him. I think I'm gonna go with like a swamp goblin, just because that sounds cool to me. Wade's gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna create some cool, nifty characters. We're gonna be on for about an hour today, during which time we invite you all to join us. So if you guys create any goblins with us today and tomorrow, if you tweet to us using the hashtag Adobe Live Design Off and post either to Instagram or to Twitter, towards the end of today's stream and next stream, I'm going to actually pull up social media and give anybody a shout out who has posted some cool art for us. You don't have to make a finished work. It's not necessary. You guys can post sketches or works in progress or anything that you're working on related to our theme. We certainly hope to see some of your work. Sam Peterson in the chat with "I'm always down for goblins." Always. Can you make a goblin pretty? You can literally make whatever kind of goblin you want, Melinda. You can totally do that. And thank you to all the familiar faces I'm seeing in chat. We've got Melinda back, Sam, obviously our OG moderator, coming in clutch with the links and the hashtag there for everyone to check out. I see Steve in chat, Usanari in chat, Laura, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. But yeah, I'd like to jump into it today, but before then, Wade, maybe you can kind of introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and the kind of art that you do, just in case they're unfamiliar with you.
Absolutely. My name is Wade Acuff. I'm an artist, illustrator, and animator. Yeah, I do a lot of fantasy art. Sci-fi gets tossed in there quite a bit. I think Sam already posted an Instagram link. If you guys want to go check that out, that will get you a little bit more familiar with my artwork. And you can also check out wadeacuff.com. You'll see most of the same things on Instagram or my website. But I want to keep that to a minimum so that we can get started.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited right now. This is gonna be so rad. So I'm gonna pull up my little thing here, and I'm gonna switch us over to our dual cam stream here, so they can see our Photoshop windows now. And I'm just gonna kind of go in and just start kind of sketching our little guy here. Do you have an idea for maybe what kind of biome or region your goblin might come from?
I was thinking swampy.
Really?
Actually, I told myself I'm not gonna go into this with anything, but then you know how your brain starts kind of throwing ideas out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally was like, I'm gonna do a swamp, and there's gonna be some Spanish moss hanging down.
Gosh dang it, OBS, we told you to be on your best behavior today. Indeed. Okay, there, we're back up. All right, perfect. So we were saying we were getting ready to kind of start. I think you were mentioning, Wade, that you were also thinking about doing a kind of swamp character, but now you may change it to like a mountainous kind of guy.
Yeah, we'll mix it up. We'll mix it up. The only thing is you have to have, since I'm not doing swamp, you have to put Spanish moss somewhere.
Okay.
On your.
I can totally do that. I can definitely make that happen. I'm gonna pull up some reference on my Pinterest board. I like to look whenever I'm making like a cute little character. I mean, granted, not all goblins are gonna be cute, but I do like to have like a kind of not a cute body, but like a small squat like round kind of body. I'm thinking for mine. And I do think that I need some reference to make sure I do like a, like get that anatomy right.
Yeah, no, I understand. I do the same thing. I usually pull up try to find several decent resources so that I have them right at my fingertips, so that glance over and figure something out.
I definitely feel like this, like my goblin at least has to have like really large, like overly large ears. And I feel like it's like a given, right?
Yeah, it's a prerequisite. You have to have the large ears.
As well as like a notch in at least one of the ears, That just seems like goblin-esque to me, something that's totally necessary. So I'm gonna get like a little goblin head going in here. And then I'm gonna.
What I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna worry about getting some kind of goblin face started.
Okay.
And I'll work out from there. What else is going on?
Nice. I'm getting like his little all of the bodies. Anytime I do like a short squat body, I always start out with like this weird kidney bean shape that cracks me up.
I like that.
Hey Jenna, welcome in. It's good to see you. Leslie, you as well. Welcome in.
Wow.
I am also excited to see Wade on. I'm also super pumped about it.
How's it going, guys?
Melinda just said necromancer goblin, and I think that's the coolest sounding thing ever.
I think I may, maybe it's a mountainous necromancer.
That sounds great. Yeah. That sounds like a plan. I gotta give my goblin, like, stringy little muscles. Like his arms are really thin, but they're, like, ripped. They're like, I think the only term for them is goblin muscles,
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Yoda. Honestly, I feel like a common nickname for Yoda is like the Jedi Goblin. Like I've heard that a lot of times. People comparing him to like a goblin or a gremlin, which he low key totally is. So that's acceptable to me. That is acceptable. I will not harp on that. It's got him doing like a little squat here. Kind of hunkered down. I don't know exactly what he's doing down here, but
oh wow, you're already getting at it.
You know what? I recently started doing like a super quick like body sketch. And I think the only reason why I can do this is because I stopped worrying about what people would think of a bad sketch if I was streaming.
Yeah, no. I would say maybe 65% of my drawing journey while I'm making something is the bad stage.
Mm-hmm. It's like not pretty till the end.
Yeah, like, no, don't judge this. This is not where we're stopping.
Yep, that's about how I am. It took a long time to get to that point though, because I don't know about you, but especially when I first started streaming, I was so self-conscious about all the steps of my process. Like it was really hard for me to show it off and to feel confident in what I was doing. And streaming, I think a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure probably ask you as well, like about streaming and what do you need to know if you're going to stream your art. I would say like kind of allow yourself to be open to letting go of those anxieties and those insecurities, because I fought them for a long time, and finally I just said, you know what, I'm letting this go. And the amount of ground I gained in my personal skill when I stopped worrying about how other people would see the ugly phase, you know, quote unquote, the amount of skill I gained just from doing that was like tremendous. So don't be ashamed, folks.
Yeah,
do your
absolutely.
thing. Have fun.
Yeah, I kind of went. I think everybody naturally goes through that once they start streaming. You know, it's like, oh, if they're not used to people watching them work,
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of naturally like, oh, I don't want him to think I'm bad, you know, or whatever.
I think we forget that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go for it.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, as soon as you realize that none of that matters, it's so much easier.
Mm-hmm. I think we forget because, and I've said this like so many times, but I feel like it's something I really needed to hear when I first started doing art, so I like to bring it up whenever I can. But we live in this interesting age where there are so many artists out there, and we kind of see the best that every artist has to offer, right? Because we don't know them in person, we know them online. So we look through their portfolio and you see the best version of everybody's work that they prefer to present to you. And I think when you look through a really extraordinary portfolio, I think a lot of us forget that this artist did not just go from point A to point B immediately. Like there's probably a lot more deliberation and work that went into all the steps for them to get to that point where the pieces look like that. And especially if we see like for me, for example, I've kind of contributed to that in a way because I like to make a lot of time lapses, but I never really post my time lapses where I messed up a lot because I'm embarrassed of them, right? So the time lapses you'll find, even of my own work, are the ones that I was particularly proud of, where I if I messed up, it wasn't that many times, so it looks more like a cohesive process, but I mess up way more times than my time-lapse shows. So when I'm broadcasting, I like to highlight the issues because, yeah, it's very easy to believe that to be like your favorite artist, you have to do a perfect job every time, and it's just not true, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If you watch my time lapse stuff, it's maybe part of the process of like, oh man, I gotta make another video.
Mm-hmm.
But I leave everything in. Like,
Good.
You will see a bunch of nonsense, kind of like right now, and then it will start to take shape.
You're a brave soul. Doing good work out there, showing everybody the mistakes. That's like, I think everybody, like other artists showing off all the great stuff they do has like helped me just as much as people showing off like their worst days to me.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's really interesting. Sam says, for sure, after you stream long enough, you almost automatically let go of the stress of doing it in front of people just because it becomes more of the norm. Yeah. Does anyone stream editing photos? Yeah, I've seen tons of people stream editing photos. Totally. I'm still nervous about the idea of live streaming. So many people. Yeah, and I would say, like, to keep things realistic, I always advise people to take precautions when it comes to internet security and personal security, you know, because you are broadcasting to the web and that, you know, opens you up to the world. But if it's something that you want to do, it's been like a really, really beautiful thing for me. I have to say, it's been something that has been like really life-changing for me. Just the fact that in the middle of a piece of art, I can look over into chat and have somebody say, hey, you're really messing up on the anatomy of that arm or this or that or whatever, and I have the opportunity to, in middle of my my work, kind of stop and edit things and change things is like insane to me. It's not the kind of interaction that I've ever kind of gotten in any other situation, even like being in an art class. So it's like gives me invaluable information, as well as kind of puts me out there to a community that has like helped me grow so much. There's just a lot. I feel like there's a lot more good than there is to be worried about in my experience, you know? So.
Right. Yeah. And talking about starting off or streaming or whatever, I mean, I was super nervous starting. Like
really?
It was nonstop. Like, should I, to the point where I would hover over the, going live button and being like, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was bad for a minute. That did not take long once I was like, none of that really matters, honestly.
Yeah, the very first time I streamed artwork live was right after Twitch TV had got the creative tab, when that first became like a thing that people were doing. And the very first time I streamed art, I was so nervous that my hands were shaking so badly that I ruined my painting. And I was so embarrassed and I was so nervous. I ended up switching to games, and I just thought, like, it's over. I'll never do this again. I'm so embarrassed, But I got some messages from people who were like, hey, when are you doing another art stream? And I was like, no way. And I just kind of took that encouragement from the community and just went for it. And I've been doing it ever since. In fact, after I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it, I switched from 90% gaming and like 10% art to 10% gaming and 90% art on every broadcast I did.
I just realized or found out, I think you were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I didn't even know that you did any gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I had no idea.
I started out as a competitive Hearthstone streamer. That's what I was gonna like be famous for Hearthstone, and then I realized like partway into my career of that I'm a horrendous Hearthstone player. It just wasn't gonna work. Like, I'm way better at Magic the Gathering, and it's really hard for me to keep up with all the new updates, especially when all the updates are like going out of rotation so often, so it was a hard thing, and I still play it. I have it on my phone. I play it all the time when I have spare time to do it, but it's no longer a career path for me, I can assure you.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I think you picked a good one.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
I think this is working out.
Wade's reminds me almost of The Hobbit, Melinda says. I'm definitely getting like some serious vibes. Yeah. I think that's a major compliment, because I am a huge fan of The Hobbit and anything Tolkien, so.
Yeah, same here. That is a huge compliment, to be honest. I love all the design work that went into all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen, but they had like a lot of, I believe it was one of the, especially the first movies for anything Lord of the Rings. The concept art team was actually made up of a lot of much older people that were doing traditional concept art, because they were people who had been doing illustrations for Tolkien projects for like the past several decades, like they've been like doing so much. They brought them in, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, those are some of my like touchstone people. John Howe, Alan Lee.
Yeah,
all of their works is just amazing. I don't know if you know this, but fun fact, I worked on Return of the King.
No, you did not. Really? Yeah. What? Can we get some OMG like emotes in the chat or something, please? Because I had no idea about that. What?
Yeah, I was a 3D modeler, so the other day when you were mentioning modeling, I was like, okay, we can do that.
Oh, I was just kidding. my gosh. How cool is that? So what was that experience like?
Oh man, it was the most amazing time, most amazing. I mean, you think about, and I may be romanticizing a little bit, but even when I was in it, it was like I've never worked with a team that was all about one goal. There was nobody looking out for themselves. It really is what everyone says about it. If you've heard anybody else talk about the team.
Wow.
It was also, I was a lot younger then, so there was I didn't know how the industry worked, but none of that mattered. I mean, it was everybody there was so helpful. Knowledge sharing. That's where my knowledge sharing love came from, honestly.
Wow, man.
Like, just having people, they see you struggling, they immediately step up and say, "Oh, you can do it this way, or you can do it that way." I was not an illustrator then. I mean, I drew, and I have like some minor, there's a little bit of concept art I did, nothing you would see in the books, but I wasn't really doing any of this then.
Wow. That's crazy. That I never knew that. I don't know why I never caught that information. I blame Sam. Sam, why don't you tell me that?
I don't really go around talking about it unless it comes up, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad we decided to talk about Lord of the Rings today. That's phenomenal. And yeah, you're right. I have like heard about what a spectacular team it was for people to work on, and it felt like everybody was just kind of really in it to create the best product possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool.
Well, part of it, and not to just make this about that, but part of it was when you're under those kind of timelines, you have no time to think about anything else. Everything's about getting it done.
That crunch, yeah. Wow. So is that something that you think that you would ever like return to, like that sort of work, or?
I mean, I'm kind of still in it from time to time. I have a couple of, I've worked on a couple of other movies and a couple of other shows.
Wow.
If you guys know Lazy Town.
Yes.
I designed I helped in it. I led the team that did the 3D backgrounds.
What?
Yep. That was coming right off of the Lord of the Rings stuff, so.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, some of that's my work.
That's amazing.
I mean, but you can. There are some other things, but you can just look. I have an IMDb page, but I don't really.
Oh, I'm not about
that right now, so.
I would love to see it. I wish I had an IMDb page. I don't have that. I was like, I worked. I don't have like a lot of like crazy stuff under my belt, like super well known things. I did some work. It was actually like my very first like toe dip into like doing concept art, and I kind of realized like it was not the kind of like art atmosphere I was looking for. Maybe it was just that I wasn't like working with the right company, so I won't say any names, but I had like the negative experience where I did a bunch of work and didn't get paid for it and didn't get credited for it. And it was like really, I don't want it to be like a downer, because like whenever something like that happens to me, I always try to see it in the most positive light that I can, and like, how can I learn from this experience? And so that taught me that from now on when I work, I need a contract.
Absolutely.
I need a contract, and I need this, and I need that, and I need to, and I've never made that mistake again. But I kind of like, after that, I was just like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna make my own stuff and do that. But I had a thought to like get involved in it again like later on in life, but I think that like I still like, it's not that past experience really influencing the idea anymore. It's just like how I work personally and the kinds of stuff that I like want to do, because I realize like you're working on a team, and I can work on a team too, but when it comes to like really putting some serious effort into like designing things and making things, I always would prefer to do that for my own IP,
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for people that do work in the concept art industry, because it's not easy.
Right. Yeah, and I think I mean, I've had those experiences as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You want to think, you want to kind of, and I still do this. I try to think about try to look for the best in people,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's people you're working with and you don't really know them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a trust level there.
For sure.
So I totally get that. I hope it doesn't discourage you, because what I think what will happen. I mean, this is just one of my things. If you put in the work,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to keep getting better, people are going to come calling.
Oh yeah. Jennifer
Put
says, I
yourself
know a
out
lot of
there.
people who worked on Xena and Hercules ended up working on the Lord of the Rings project. That's why I ask. I used to watch those TV shows all the time. Did you ever watch Hercules, like the live action Hercules and Xena back in the day?
I did.
Oh, I think what was that on, like WB or something like that for a while? That was my jam. I remember like running around the house and my parents getting absolutely sick and tired of hearing me do the Xena war call at like 4 and 5.
Call?
They were done. Yeah, I did the call. Of course I did. How can you watch Xena and like not do the call? Like, I bet you've done the call at least once in your life.
Probably.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah. Like you can't watch Xena and not know the call and not do the call. It's a necessary thing that just comes with that. I'm thinking about giving him like a loincloth. I'm not sure.
Man. You've definitely got it going on over there.
I'm trying. So one of the things I'm trying to do, just like for myself to better my own like art, is I'm not actually used to putting a lot of clothes on characters, because I do mostly portraits.
Right.
So I find myself in situations where when I have to add like an outfit to like a full body character, I'm at a loss because I don't have a lot of the visual database and like knowledge to really make something look like it's wearing clothes. So I really have to work at it. But these design offs have really pushed me to just like go for it, whether I know what I'm doing or not, and just like test it out and see if something works. So I'm kind of like maneuvering here with this weird little cloak and loincloth combo I've got going on.
Hey, why not, right?
Yeah, just sometimes you really just gotta just do it. Just go for it. Like Nike says, y'all, just go for it and see what happens. I think it was WB. I actually have a prop axe from one of the episodes. That's amazing. Would you create a comic book, VooDoo Val? No, I would never create a comic book. I tried that, and I have a lot of trouble painting the same character or drawing the same character from different angles and having it look like it's the same person. It's something I've struggled with for a long time, and I tried to do a comic book before, and I just wasn't really very good at it. However, I love writing stories, short stories. Like I'm working on a novel because I just love like writing. I love spending my free time inventing stories that I could do and things, and I like painting just like companion paintings to go with stories. So like illustrating an iconic scene or just painting the characters. And there's an artist out there who I have been a fan of since I was very, very young, who basically does what I want to do. His name's Brom. If any of you guys are fans of Brom. Yeah. Brom's like one of my top dudes, because he does, I mean, obviously he's Brom, he does everything that he does, but he also worked on Diablo. He also has like a bunch of Magic the Gathering stuff out there, and I just grew up watching his art, and seeing everything that he did, and those are not even like the most notable things that he's working on, but he has written novels. He's written a rewrite of Peter Pan called The Child Thief, and he's rewritten the story of Krampus, and like all of these different stories that are kind of like, he takes existing stories and like revamps them and makes them like spooky stories. And he does all of the illustrations for his own books, and it's like every chapter or two there's a painting that kind of shows what's going on in the story, and then in the back of all his books he has a full body rendered painting of each character in order of appearance. And that's what I want to do. I don't really want to do a comic book, that's too much, but just paintings, companion paintings is like a cool way to go, I think.
I was trying to find an artist name. I was gonna, if it came up, he's on Instagram, and I can't remember his name, but he does really cool, like almost like, you know, Poos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he does, his drawing style is a little bit like that. Mm-hmm. But he always has this really detailed story that goes along with it, and I've always liked that, and I've always pulled short from like writing that. But after I've heard you talk about writing multiple times now, and I'm like, you know what, I should probably give that a shot again.
It's fun. It's so fun.
Jennifer says, Hubby says, Dark Sun. Yes, that's how I know Brom, from his D&D work. So many good things from Brom.
Writing a fantasy novel is amazing. Bring the adventure from inside you. Yeah, totally. It's to me, writing is like being able to, it gives me the opportunity to illustrate every single thing perfectly that I don't yet know how to paint.
Yes.
You know? Also, I'm trying to keep track of time here too, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we do have maybe 20 minutes before we'll wind down and take a look at social media and see if anybody did a goblin with us this evening, and then we'll say goodbye. Again, I want to reiterate, Wade and I are illustrating goblins, and we invite everyone to draw goblins with us if you so choose to. You are all invited to participate, and if you would like to share your work, your goblins, with us, all you have to do is get onto Twitter or Instagram and tweet us your either a finished work or a work in progress to hashtag Adobe Live Design Off. And I'm going to check Instagram and I'm going to check Twitter at the end of the stream to see if we have any awesome community work to check out. So I hope to see some of your renditions of goblins today. I think that would be super, super fun. And I also want to know, like, because like we kind of chose like locations where these goblins might be from. So I would love to know like what kind of goblin you are designing. I'm designing one that's like more from a swamp, so I'm trying to make him seem like really, like he has like ratty, tattered clothes and like a weird loincloth. And I think I'm gonna give him like, you know, those spikes people use to hunt frogs with like the little prong.
It's a gig.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him like a little handmade frog gig thing that he just has. That's just like his weapon. I'm gonna make it look like there's just like 3 spikes kind of tied to a stick, and then that's that. I think that looks pretty neat.
I'm taking a second to look at your character. That's it's looking really cool.
Thanks. Yours is too, man. You got like you've already got in like this like shading and like this excellent depth that I'm just loving. He in his outfit, I love like his clothes really look like there's like weight to that fabric and just like sitting on his frame very well. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Not sure he's really from a mountainous region, but I kind of went more with the necromancer thing when that
kind of brought up. I'm into it. Okay, I'm gonna like turn my opacity down on all of my sketches, and I'm gonna start adding a little bit of value here. Sometimes if I'm having trouble really visualizing the end game of a sketch, sometimes adding value to it, I'll just like, I do like a perfect silhouette of my drawing in black and then turn it down on a low opacity so that I can see it like colored in from the rest of the background. And sometimes that kind of does it to like really push my brain into like the final stage of visualization.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going for now. I can't design a goblin since I'm a beginner. What a stickman do? Sure. Absolutely. There are no rules against turning in stickmen, and I have to say, like, if you don't consider yourself like a super accomplished artist, or you're a beginner, or you know, maybe you've been designing for a lot of years but illustration isn't your thing, you can totally join in and just submit whatever you have. You can even do like use the goblin theme and interpret it differently for different kinds of work. You could maybe hand letter the word goblin. You know, you could design a landing page in Adobe XD that maybe it's like an informational app that tells you about goblins. Like, you could really interpret this however you want. There are no rules. This is a prompt that everyone of every different artistic discipline can join in. Nobody is excluded. So, I mean, we're both illustrators are on here, but that does not mean that you are required to illustrate. You can kind of do whatever you want. I feel so bad I didn't draw today. Too much going on. Well, you know, sometimes you also just need to take a breather, and that's a-okay. He's almost like a Dobby from Harry Potter, but with smaller eyes. Yeah, kinda. So Dobby was a house elf. And then I think the goblins were the ones that ran Gridgott's bank, I think, right? But the house elves always kind of looked like the goblins to me, so. Stick goblins all the way, says Sam Peterson. I'm down.
Yeah, I'd love to see Sam's goblin take on this.
And speaking of Sam, I'm actually pulling up Sam's brushes right now. I have Sam's brushes in my brush panel. So I'm gonna pull up the brushes that he shared with us this past stream that he was on, because they're my new favorite thing. I love them so much, and I have been using them like non-stop since he shared the link in the chat.
His arms bother me.
Aw, yeah. Indeed, Sam, indeed. Okay, these are looking amazing, guys. Thank you so much, Panda. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna turn the opacity down because this.
And maybe a little bit of hair.
Oh yeah.
The sprigs on the side there.
I didn't put any hair on mine. I put like a traditional like Diablo 2 like skull cap on him.
Oh yeah.
You know, like just like the little cloth thing that just hangs on his head. I feel like that's very goblinish, but if I was going for hair, I think I'd probably do similar to what you're doing, where he has like kind of wisps, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
The chunk out of Val's gnome's ear is cool. Oh, thanks. I remember I said I had to, if I was going to do goblins today, it needed to have at least one little notch in his ear. That was my own requirement for myself. The cool thing about like painting like kind of a smaller character like this is on these broadcasts, because of how long they last, I very seldomly get the chance to like get into some serious like painting, you know, unless I already prepare a sketch. But I wanted to do as much of this on the broadcast as I could, but since it's not like hyper detailed, you know, there's no call for that totally, I get to already like start painting. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Feels good.
That's why I was trying to come into this without any preconceived, like, what am I gonna do? Just for the challenge of it, you know.
Yeah, and it's really good. I think, like I was saying earlier, it's so great to be able to show off like the process in its raw form, because that's, you know, that's one of the things that like really helped me, you know, growing as an artist, is just being able to really look at somebody starting from scratch and be like, all right, I'm not the only one that you know has a weird looking sketch. Because man, my sketches sometimes, like I think today it looked pretty dynamic early on, but sometimes my sketches, it's a disaster. Like I even ask myself like if I really know how to draw. Do I know what I'm doing? Have I been lying to myself this whole time?
Yeah, there are a lot of times I will do that. Especially when I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna flip it.
Oh yeah.
And be like, why is it so awkward?
I need to flip mine too. Let's see. Yours actually looks really great flipped, but sometimes that flip canvas is what really is just like, well, I'm taking a day off. I'm gonna come back tomorrow when I don't feel so bad. Let's see. It's not too bad. I have a really bad habit of always making, like, when I put my character at like a quarter turn of the head, I make the farthest eye way too small constantly.
Yeah, I call it the wonk eye.
The wonk eye, yeah.
Wonk eye, wonky, you know.
Super great way to put it. Yes, if you will part 2 be a continuation of these pieces, or will you be starting something new? I think we could probably continue them unless you wanted to start new goblins, because I'd like to add color to mine, and maybe put some biome-y stuff around it. So
yeah, I'm up for whatever. I mean, we can keep working on these, or start over.
And either way, the theme is still goblins.
Yeah, and I like where this is going, so I wouldn't mind working on this.
Same. All right, so there you go, Leslie. We're going to be working on it tomorrow. So if you guys want to post, I would say post your works in progress for us, folks, and then post finished versions tomorrow, because we definitely want to see your work, even if it's not 100% done. We don't care about that, because we're at the work in progress stage with you. We're not finished yet. So post those. I'm going to be pulling up the social media here in a few minutes. I'm going to look at Instagram and Twitter to see if anybody has shared any work with us yet. And I'm going to be looking in the hashtag for Adobe Live Design Off. So you will need to include that hashtag in your post. You can tag me as well if you would like, but please don't only tag me, because there's no way I'm pulling up my notifications for Twitter on the stream, because I don't want you guys to see the weird stuff people send me. It's just not gonna happen. Because it's literally my feed is just full of the strangest pictures of Kylo Ren that people find on the internet and just tweet to me, because that's my reputation now. And you don't need that in your lives. The one and only legendary Wonk Eye. That's actually a great title for a goblin.
Yep.
Wonk Eye is perfect. I love it.
I feel like that should be a thing now.
Yep, definitely. We should definitely have chat, like, name our goblins.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I feel like that would be super rad. That's gotta happen. I'm trying to give my my goblin a chin, like, you seen Treasure Planet?
Oh yeah.
You know, like the main pirate dude with like the weird chin that like it like scrunches under and it has like 5 o'clock shadow on it and it's like so distinct. That was like one of my favorite chins growing up. Where I was like, I will never forget it. I saw that movie when I was like 10, and it's still with me. That chin. So that's what I'm doing here. That's what's happening. I think I'm getting the point across.
I'm just starting to add a little bit of highlight, just to kind of figure out where my lighting's gonna be.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna full screen to you real quick because I am going to flip over, and I'm going to check and see if we have anything on social media because we do have to check it out pretty soon. But I want to check it first. I trust you guys, but I do want to check it first. Definitely top 10 childhood chins at least. Totally, Sam. Yeah, John Silver. Yeah. Alright, let's check it out. Don't think we got any new ones. We did get some that rolled over from last week, though, that I'm going to show. So that's what we're gonna have. But if you guys get some in the next minute, like some works in progress with hashtag Adobe Live Design Off, then I can show your works in progress. And then we will also, if you don't get it in until later today, that's fine. I typically make a habit of like retweeting most of what comes through, even if it comes through late. And we will be checking the hashtag tomorrow as well. So it's not the only opportunity to get a little feature. I just like to say thank you to everybody for participating, kind of show off the work that folks do along with us, because it's really cool. I'll give us another minute.
It's so cool that there's an outlet for that.
Yeah.
You know, like, everybody can draw along and post their work if they want.
Yeah, totally. And then we can actually like see it real time. I don't know. I'm struck very frequently by like how lucky I am to like be able to do this and be able to see work and share work and have work shared with me and draw with the community and everything. It's just like a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna peek one more time because we got about 5 minutes before we have to say goodbye. I can't believe the hour is gone. I really can't.
We're already there?
Yeah, can you believe it?
No way.
Let's see, I'm gonna refresh, and if there's no new ones, that's fine because we do have stuff to show. And like I said, we're gonna be doing stuff next week too, so that is totally fine. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna show these that rolled over from last week. We just got a couple of them. I'm gonna full screen mine here and take a look. This came from, let's see, this came from Creative Forge. It looks like it's one of our previous ones that we were doing where we were making like signs and banners and things for video game related stuff. So this is like a Pokemon trainer badge and expansion pass thing that has Ivysaur, Charizard, and Squirtle names on it with their colors on the Pokeball and everything, and I think this is really cool. There's a few different iterations of it, and then we also got this, which I think this is from Kitri Chris. I hope I did not butcher that name. And I think this is from Downton Abbey, and it says, "Don't be full of hate, dear. It's very middle class." And it's the woman that also plays Professor McGonagall in Downton Abbey, and it's like super classy. It looks like you use like the pen tool to kind of trace around and make this really cool thing of her, and it looks like a greeting card and then that quote from her and like a really classy kind of pattern in the back. So very cool. I believe that was for the postcard design off I did with Kaladi. So thank you guys for sharing. That's really awesome. And for those of you who are looking to share something that you made, again, you can share it later today and we'll show it tomorrow. And don't be afraid to share work in progress if you're not going to finish. That's totally fine. So yeah, let me kind of full screen on our dual stream here, and I'm going to zoom out and kind of show what I did so people can get a good look at our goblins that we've done so far. I think these look so cool. Yours is so, like, well put together already, man. Like, I don't know, man. I love the skull on top of his staff and everything.
Yeah, I went a little bit on the necromancer side.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It definitely fits the mood.
Yours is ready to bound. It's like
he's getting ready to pounce. Yeah. Angry goblin. Also, I love that, like, and I wanted to make him like have big ears, but I did not fully intend at the beginning of this to make both of his ears the size of his whole head. Like, because his whole face is like
it really does work.
Thank you. Well, that is what we did today, folks, for our first goblin design off, which was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on and designing with me, Wade. It's been an absolute blast. Real quick before we take off, because we do have to go in a couple of minutes, where is the best place for people to find you online, where they can check out your other work and things?
Just my Instagram and wadeacuff.com. You can look at some of my work there. And I do stream on Behance as well.
Nice. So catch another one of his streams. If you guys find yourself missing Wade, which I know I will as soon as we get off stream here, I'm gonna be very sad. But yeah, check out his Instagram, check out his Behance streams. Thank you, Sam has also posted my Instagram. I share a lot of kind of like dark fantasy art over there, a lot of Star Wars fan art, and I also post, I've started posting writing on my Instagram, like in little slides, so you can see like paragraphs of like little segments of writing like I talked about earlier. So if you guys are into that, check that out. It's all spooky, creepy stuff, but I made it. But yeah, so thank you, Wade, so much again for joining me. It's been a blast. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and hanging out with us, even though we're the latest stream. Probably for some people, we're the late show, wherever you are in the world. It's been awesome, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific with episode number 2 of the Goblin Design Off. So thanks, everyone. Awesome. Thanks, Wade.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.